So, to begin with, we're going to have a go at finding this medieval stone chapel, built in honour of Edward the Confessor. And this illustration by antiquarian Thomas Hearn is the only clue we have to what it actually looked like. Helpfully, Hearn tells us that it was situated to the north of the church, which probably means that it's now buried under one of these gardens. But the villagers reckon it's going to be easy to work out where it was.
Stuart, on the face of it, this looks extremely simple because I've just spotted site of King's Chapel and a big cross. So what's the problem?
It does look pretty obvious, doesn't it? Now, the problem with these crosses, when the map makers were coming round in the late 18th century, they were soldiers. Mm-hmm. They'd speak to the local vicar or local antiquarian, and he might have said, there was a palace over there, or there was a moat over there, or there was a chapel over there.
And it wasn't that important to them.
No, it wasn't. So that could be one of two things. It could be somebody precisely knew where that was, and that is bang on. Mm-hmm. Or alternatively, it could be just, it was over in that yard somewhere, and the surveyor just put the cross there.
Tricky.
Stuart's worked out where the cross would be on the modern map.
And it falls firmly in the middle of that timber yard.
So are the buried walls of the chapel under here? Well, Geophys did a radar survey in the timber yard earlier this morning, and they're now ready to look at their results.
The X marked on the map is literally here.
Right in the middle?
Yep.
That's interesting because we've got no clear targets, but there is one in the far corner, and the second target genuinely is in the middle, there.
That doesn't look very clear.
It isn't very clear. It's not an easy area for us to survey. All the problems with things around the outside.
Well, there's only one way we're going to find out if the chapel was here, and that's by digging a hole. The trouble is, this is a working timber yard, and it looks like there might be one or two delays.
How long do you think?
Depends where it is on the lorry, really. Should be half an hour, three-quarters of an hour.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
And if you want it done quicker, you can always give us a hand.
There you go, John.
Some more guys.
Well, this is a surprise. No resistance from Geophys. Let's hope it's all worth it, because of course we can't trust the big X on the map. It's quite possible that the remains of the chapel could be in the pub car park. Or in the garden of the house next door. There's no room for Geophys to survey in this garden, so we've decided to open up a few random test pits. Possibly foolishly, the owners have given us permission to dig anywhere we want to, because their property has a name that could be a clue to the location of the chapel.
Yeah, this is the one, look. There's the clue, Confessor's Gate. Jonathan, Confessor's Gate, is it a good clue?
Confessor's Gate, well, now, your deeds, Joanna, they call the house...
It was called St Edward's originally. It's now called Confessor's Gate.
Okay.
I'm not sure when it was renamed.
And it looks like this gate has actually taken on that name because we have a figure of a head right over the top.
Ooh.
The problem is, this arch and the wall it's in is no older than about 100 years old. So we have to look at that really closely.
Jonathan's wondering if the figurehead itself could be medieval.
It's weathered nicely. It's got a lot of weathering on it. It's also stuck around the back with cement, like it's a found item that's just been applied. But
The trouble is, he doesn't think it's Edward the Confessor. He thinks it's a woman.
I think it's more like Edwina the Contessa rather than Edward the Confessor. The reason being that it's headgear, because that to me looks like a wimple, standard late 14th, early 15th
If that was
century.
a mitre, it'd be like this, wouldn't it? Down over the sort of forehead.
It would.
Whereas actually it's pushed right back up like that, isn't it?
Exactly that.
Is your heart bleeding? It's either Victorian or it ain't Edward.
Well, it's not quite what I thought.
Join Time Team on Patreon to access exclusive 3D models, masterclasses, and behind-the-scenes insights.